Thank you for contacting me in relation to Daniel Andrews and Labor's proposal to extend the state of emergency in Victoria. I have openly raised some issues in relation to the timeline and also the extra powers that will be within this bill. Firstly, I understand the importance of all measures in place for community safety and the understanding that safety must be a significant consideration. However, when the government put legislation before the Parliament, we have to vote on everything in that bill, not just the headlines the government give to the media or the community. I wish to list my concerns and I welcome your feedback on this matter. Daniel Andrews has claimed that his proposal is simply an extension of the current Act. However, this is not the case. This bill enables the government to extend the state of emergency in Victoria without any active cases in the state. The current legislation does not. The bill proposes a power to close Parliament and has no oversight committee of the government. And the bill in Clause 6 adds reasonably prior to necessary in relation to the powers of the Chief Health Officer. In the last 6 months, particularly in the past 4 weeks, we can all agree the legislation that is currently in place has had the ability to order the Stage 4 lockdowns, and there is no need to make it easier for the Chief Health Officer or government to enforce lockdowns on Victorians. This extension of powers to a total of 18 months, or 12 months if media reports are correct, will be for any state emergency in the future. Daniel Andrews empowered the Public Accounts and Estimates Committee to have oversight of the COVID response. However, the chairperson of the committee is a Labor MP, and a majority of the members of the committee are Labor MPs. This is not genuine oversight. When Daniel Andrews was the Health Minister in 2008, he introduced this Act. And the reason we had a 6-month limit was to protect our democracy and prevent absolute power in the hands of any government. The bill does not enforce the Chief Health Officer to release any details or evidence they rely on to make decisions to lock down Victorians. This was raised today by the Australian Medical Association. If there is further evidence to remove your freedoms, then it must be public. Again, I state the importance of the ability to ensure people are protected. And the government can do this in the best interest of public health. And my position is, we should extend the state of emergency by 1 month at a time, with Parliament to sit each month to review each extension. Ensure all advice on the reasons to extend any stage restrictions of your freedoms are released. The extension should only be of the current Act, not extra powers or changes to give greater power to an individual or to detain a person. Release a plan of how we get to remove the restrictions, including targets. And release a back-to-work plan that supports businesses and community return to work and build the community support for people impacted by job loss or business loss. I believe this is a reasonable approach which puts community safety first, while not putting the community at risk with changes that no one has asked for and that only hands more power to a limited few with no genuine oversight. This is the most important piece of legislation that I will vote on in the Victorian Parliament, and you deserve to have a say. But I ask you all to consider, why would we change the powers that are given to the government when for the last 6 months they've been very effective in what we've had to do to lock down or put restrictions in place on your freedoms?